American record, shatters it.
Yes.
You said you believed what her coach said, which is she'd run, 3 minutes faster,
Yes.
which would leave her like a couple seconds short. I was more optimistic. I thought she was going to go 2:18s, and she did it and finished second in this race with a lot of women who were 2:20 low. I mean, it's funny. I looked at her last 2 kilometers compared to – she ran faster over the last 2 kilometers by like 10 or 11 seconds than Chepngetich, which makes sense because Chepngetich went out at 2:10 pace. But I figured Sisson had a big one in her, and this one was it. We talked to Keira D'Amato a couple weeks ago before Berlin. Hey, do you think your record's going to hang around that long? She said no. I said no back when she did it in Houston, just because we're seeing how fast the rest of the world is, and we know how deep U.S. women are right now. What did you think of Sisson's run? Did anything about that surprise you, either the place or the time or the manner in which she ran it?
I mean, I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised. I knew she was in for a big PB. I didn't think she would, shatter the American record by over 30 seconds. But it's one of those things where you're surprised, and then you think about it, and then you're like, that makes sense. Yeah. It's like those weird moments. You're like, whoa, okay, that makes sense.
Because if I had told you 3 years ago Emily Sisson was going to be the American record holder in the
you would
marathon,
say, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I can see. You could say I could see that, but like anytime it happens, you're always like, whoa. But 2:18 though, 29 for Sisson. Keira D'Amato's now second with 2:19.12. My question before 2022, Dina Kasser's the only one to ever break 2:20.
Yeah.
So, who else do you think will be? Not who else, but like we talked about the world. We talked about the world record. You think it's going to be 2:12 by the end of next year?
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about American record. We know Sisson isn't the only one out there who can run this fast. How long does this stay?
Well, I think the best candidate to break Emily Sisson's American record is Emily Sisson doing it again, because I think she's still got more in it. This was only the 3rd marathon that she started. She's still young. She's still got a lot of speed on the track. So this is going to go under 2:18. Like the world record, if the world record does get to 2:12, like someone in the United States is going to be able to run 5 minutes slower than that. Like that's just the reality. So yeah, I think we're going to see a sub 2:18 probably next year as well too. I think it's just there's no reason why it should slow down, and the amount of depth and talent for the U.S. women is there too.
I think it's also fun that being a sports podcast, like an event happens. And my first thought is like, when's it going to be broken again? Let's talk about the 26 miles she just ran. I was like, let's talk about when she's going to do it again.
Sisson, and this is why I was so optimistic about Mance too, like all the indicators are there. A lot of times in the marathon, it tricks you. You're like, man, why is this person? Why can this man only run 2:12? Like, look at all these PRs and like that. Or on the women's side, like, why are they only getting at 2:24, 2:25? With Sisson, everything pointed to her having a fast one in her. She just needed the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
And this was it. And she did it in a race. She said she had no idea. Like, she had pacing help, obviously, but she said she had no idea the time, even towards the end, because all the attention was on Chepngetich. And when they have those combined fields, they can't send the secondary pace car and camera. So she said because there was no cameras and stuff around her, she thought she was off American record pace. And then someone yelled at her towards the end. She thought, okay, maybe I'm close to breaking 2:20, and they want me to break 2:20. And then it wasn't until she crossed the line, and I believe she said she asked her husband, hey, how fast did I run? And that's when she found out she broke the American record. Now, I don't know if that would help her or hurt her, but again, let's go back a couple years. Remember where the Americans got a bunch of PRs? Marathon Project?
Yeah.
Right? Imagine that sort of setup. I don't know if they're going to do anything like that. There was obviously extenuating circumstances around that, but imagine something like that where it's in the United States, but it's all set up around time, and you bring a lot of these top women, top men together. I think you could see another run on fast times. But I also think this is what's required now to keep up. We've mentioned 7 women who we think can run 2:17 or faster, right? At least. Maybe 2:16 or faster, because some of them have already run in the 2:14s. This is what you have to do to keep up on the global scene right now.
One thing I think, it's always interesting, how did we get to this record? She basically, I don't know if it's luck or whatever, but
definitely not luck. It's a marathon.
Well, I'm saying luck in that, the way the field played out, because when Ruth Chepngetich goes all the way out, you're like, all right.
She's gone.
Yeah. And luckily, there were 2 other women who were running that similar pace with Sisson for most of the race.
Yeah.
She had Sora, Aga, and Kiplagat with her.
Yeah.
Basically, through 30K, she was just in a little trio.
Well, yeah, she had the men pacing too.
Yeah. So like, but even having the men pacing is one. I think it's a little different when you have like the competition because
Sure.
men pacing.
I just meant she had company.
Yeah, I think it's different though having competition company versus pacing company.
Okay.
But she makes the move somewhere between 30K and 35K. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but to have 30 of your 42K, like kind of feeling like you're just in the pack cruising. It's only having to run a 12K.
No,
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, this was things aligned for, right? The weather we know was good. The pacing was good. That's why I'm not going to say, oh, she's going to run 2 minutes faster than that. But do I think she can squeeze out another, 30 seconds in a better scenario?
I think you can always squeeze out another 30 seconds.
In a marathon?
I mean, Kipchoge did it.
A little bit, yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I think this is only marathon number 3. She clearly still has the speed. The video of her kicking in was just incredible. It looked like she was finishing at 1500. It was nuts. So I think she's the best candidate to break her own record. I think she likes these flat, fast courses. Small sample size, but the 2 that she did went really well. The one that she did not on a flat, fast course didn't go well. So it's pointing in that direction. But yeah, put her in Berlin next year, put her in London in the fall, or maybe Valencia one day. Like, I want to see more and more Americans going after the fast times because a lot of their PBs don't match up with
Their abilities.
Their abilities, yeah.